this edition of On the Line, we're going to talk about a big bill that we're working on here at ASA that deals with little fish, known as forage fish. For most anglers, you probably know these as bait fish, species like sardines, herring, and anchovies that serve as a critical food source for all the sport fish populations that we care about. And there's a strong correlation between the health and abundance of these smaller forage fish and the larger sport fish that we all care about that also depend on these forage fish as prey species. There's also, unfortunately, increasing interest in harvesting these forage fish for commercial exploitation, and so we need to make sure that in federal law there are safeguards that make it clear that these forage fish populations need to be maintained at healthy levels and in a way that serves their critical role in the ecosystem and supporting all the marine life, including sport fish, that the recreational fishing industry depends upon. Current law, known as the Magnuson-Stevens Act, essentially manages all species the same. So despite the fact that these forage fish are important food sources for much of the rest of the ecosystem, current law only requires management of them as a single species. So when catch limits are set, they're set in a way that that single population is sustainable, but not necessarily in a way that accounts for all the other populations of fish and other marine life that depend on those forage fish. To address this issue, fortunately, there's a bill that has been recently introduced in Congress known as the Forage Fish Conservation Act. It was introduced by Congresswoman Debbie Dingell from Michigan, Congressman Brian Mast from Florida, and has over a dozen bipartisan co-sponsors and is working its way through the House. A lot of it is driven by a report that came out back in 2014 known as the Morris-Deal Commission Report. A lot of the ideas in that report helped inspire the Modern Fish Act, which was enacted into law at the end of 2018. However, one of those key recommendations was the improved conservation of forage fish, which still needs to be addressed, and which is why we're so focused on the Forage Fish Conservation Act. So please do what you can to help support this bill. Please contact your members of the House of Representatives and ask him or her to please support this bill. For more information and to learn how you can help support this bill, please visit keepamericafishing.org.